Hello everyone, my name is Arthur Morris and welcome to Solving Equations with Fractions. So the equations that we will solve in this video will include several fractions. When equations include several fractions or inequalities include several fractions, I like to clear those fractions out. So to clear fractions out, you find the least common denominator of the fractions like you would if you were adding or subtracting fractions. So I have my denominators of 6, 7, and 6. The first common multiple, the first number that they will go into is 42. So once I find that least common multiple of my denominators, then I multiply both sides of my equation by that number. So I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by 42. So notice on the left-hand side, we have a plus in between those two fractions, so we have to use our distributive property. And remember, this is the same thing as 42 over 1. So the reason I do this is so I can cancel out my denominator. 6 will go into 42. That will simplify. 6 will go into 42 7 times, so that leaves me with 7 times x there. 7 will go into 42 6 times, so now I have 6 times x there. Again, 6 will go into 42 7 times, so now I have 7 times 7 on my right-hand side. So now I don't have any fractions to deal with. I just have to use my equation solving process. I will go ahead and multiply 7 times 7 out to get 49. So I don't have any distributive property, no parentheses to clear, but I do have like terms on my left-hand side. 6x plus 7x, they're on the same side of the equal sign, so I can go ahead and combine those to make 13x. And then the last step is to make this into 1x, so I would divide both sides by 13. 13 divided by 13 is 1, so that makes 1x equals 49 over 13. Okay, so the key to clearing these fractions out is to find the common denominator and multiply both sides of your equation by that common denominator. Okay, so on this one we have denominators of 6, 7, and 21. So if I think of my multiples of 21, first of all, 6 and 7, both of those won't go into 21. 7 will, but 6 won't, so that's not my common denominator. My next multiple of 21 is 42. 6 will go into 42 and 7 will go into 42. So that tells me right there that that is my least common denominator, 42. So again, I will multiply both sides of my equation by 42, or 42 over 1 if you would like to write it that way. And again, I have two fractions on my left-hand side, so I have to have a plus in between those, so I have to distribute. So 42 times this fraction, 6 will go into 42 7 times, so it gives me 7 times n minus 5. Distribute to the second fraction. 7 will go into 42 6 times, so that gives me 6 times n plus 3. And then on the right-hand side, 21 will go into 42 2 times, so I have 11 times 2. So from here, we would just use our equation solving procedure. Let's clear our parentheses by using the distributive property. So 7 times 5, 7 times n is 7n. 7 times negative 5 is negative 35. Distribute the positive 6. Positive 6n, positive 18. Multiply 11 times 2, 22. So after we clear the fractions, we see if we have any like terms on one side or the other, and we do have like terms on the left-hand side here. So I'm going to combine those like terms. The 7n plus the 6n would give us 13n. And the negative 35 plus the 18, negative 35 plus 18 is negative 17. So now I'm going to use my addition principle. My variable term is on one side of the equal sign, so I just need to move my number or my constant term of negative 17 by adding 17 to each side. And the last step, remember we want 1n, so to make this into 1n, I have 13 times n. I'm just going to divide by 13 because 13 divided by 13 is 1n. Over here, divide by 13, n equals 3. So I know most of you don't like to work with fractions, so this is one way to get rid of those fractions when you're solving equations. Okay, let's take a look at one more example. All right, so I have denominators of 8 and 2. So I need to find the least common denominator of 8 and 2. Least common denominator, first number that 8 and 2 will go into. Well, if we look here, 2 will go into 8. Therefore, my least common denominator is 8. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 8. Okay, so using my distributive property on the left-hand side, I have 8 times its first fraction. Well, the 8's will simplify. 8 will go into 8 one time. So it gives me 1 times 2x minus 7. And then multiply the 8 times the x since I have that plus there. So it gives me 8x. Now on my right-hand side, I'm going to distribute the 8 also. So when I multiply 8 times that first fraction here, the 2 and the 8 will simplify. 2 goes into 8 4 times. So we'll have 4 times 2x plus 7. Distribute here. 8 times 8 is 64. So again, from here, we go through our equation solving procedure. Clear the parentheses first. So 2x minus 7 plus 8x. Distribute the 4. 8x plus 28 plus 64. Like terms on each side. So on the left-hand side, I have the like terms of 2x and positive 8 to give me 10x. Bring down the minus 7. On the right-hand side, we have the like terms of positive 28 and positive 64. So 28 plus 64 gives us 92. So think about your next step. You see variable terms on each side. You want to get those combined or moved to one side. So let's move the variable terms using our addition principle. Let's move this 8x by subtracting 8x, subtracting 8x. Gives us 2x minus 7 equals 92. We have our variable terms on one side, so now we want our constant terms moved to the opposite side of the equal sign. So let's add 7, gives us 2x equals 99. And the last step, remember we want 1x, not 2x, so let's divide both sides by 2 to make that into 1x. Therefore, x equals 99 over 2. All righty, we made it to the end of another video. Hope you found that to be helpful. Thank you.